Okay, we are live. Welcome to the Mind Scrambler podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Spike Spencer, and doing a little mime there was my friend Kyle Hebert. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? So this is one of those things where on a podcast people say, let me read his bio. So Kyle Hebert has been in blah 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 blah. I'm not going to do that because you have been in everything, and we have worked on so many projects together. And
we have, and it's always a blast, especially the cartoon stuff because we got to record together.
Oh, that is so much fun, man! That really is. You guys don't understand how much fun it is to be in the same room with other people and be able to be silly. It really comes across, and it's quite amazing. So tell us a little bit, Kyle, what are your favorite things? What have you been in? Tell people, because whenever I say, oh, here's my list, read that off, we're going to talk about everything. Bleach, Naruto, Wreck-It Ralph, Pokemon, yada, yada, yada. Tell us a little about yourself. Intro.
Oh my gosh. My name's Kyle Hebert, everybody. I'm 51 years old. I live in Los Angeles, very happily married to a beautiful woman named Christina Hebert. And let's see here. God, I've been doing video games and anime for 20 years. Oh my God. There was no internet when, there was barely internet when I started. I crossed over from radio. I grew up watching cartoons and wanting to say, I want to do that. I want to voice things.
Yeah.
So a lot of voice actors that you'll interview and or people who watch panels or online or whatever will discover that, oh, I just happened to hear about an audition. I didn't seek it out per se. I'm the one of those who totally wanted it. Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted. So Lady Luck was shining down upon me in August of 2000 when my old radio cohort said, hey, Funimation has auditions for Dragonball Z. Like, what? So that was amazing. I mean, I literally was already a fan of that show, and it was making a dream come true. And that show was the first big voice acting gig I had. And eventually I picked up and moved to LA from Dallas at the time. That's where I grew up, basically. And Dragon Ball Z has launched my career. It's opened up doors and met other awesome people like yourself. Wonderful, supportive community of colleagues that we work in. Yeah. And super talented, multi-talented, as now we've all had to be as we juggle dodging the Rona and surviving all these economic curveballs and everything. But so that's basically where I've come from. I'm this big nerd. I'm an overgrown kid who loves Star Wars, who loves the internet and tech, social media. I love video games. I love streaming on the Twitch for the kiddos. Golly, I am very, very blessed to be where I am. I have worked hard. I put in a lot of time. And as this a study of anyone in freelance goes, you don't know where your next paycheck's coming from. So it's like you're thirsty. You're always thirsty. You're always hustling. Even though I have an agent and I know casting people, it's like, you got to keep that ball rolling. Otherwise it gets stagnant. And then suddenly you can't pay the bills. So been doing that, trying to stay positive in this environment and in what I do, because what I do is so much fun. Yeah. So fun.
That is true. It's a crazy world that we inhabit, and it's interesting when you talk to people outside of our world, because it's kind of insular, really. In Hollywood, is we all know each other, and some people it's kind of like high school. Some people these people. Oh, you know who they are. You may never have met them, but you know who they are, and they kind of know who you are. And it's like, oh, so, and then you work together, and like, oh my gosh, finally we get to meet each other, and it's pretty wild. And like you're saying, the supportive, but people outside of the world, you're like, yeah, I'm a voice actor. It's like, what is that? I've had people in corporate, and they're like going, you're a voice actor? What is that? Like, have you ever watched a cartoon? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, that's what we do.
Or they say, have you ever done any real acting?
It hurts.
Oh, right in the feels. Yeah, because I guess we can't be that generic and say, yeah, I'm an actor, because everyone knows what an actor is or what they think of an actor as.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Now, have you had this happen? Oh, by the way, so Emily is over here. She is dying to say hi. She is inside my membership group, and she's awesome. So if you could say hi to her, that would be good.
Hi, Emily. She's Emily. She's so cool. What's up, Emily? Yeah, that's my new hit. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a one-hit wonder and just retire off all the residuals from that, all the royalties. Yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
Right?
I'm not proud. I'm not too proud.
No, we're actors. We're desperate. We're totally desperate.
That's be like, hey, blop blop fizz fizz. I'll take it.
Exactly. Oh,
wait, Debbie's got that. Damn it. Why? Let me ask you. So in still talking shop for a little while here. Have you experienced the pigeonholing effect?
Well, I would say that in my particular career, I have more gigs based on the range, which is great. I'll get called in on a lot of projects I didn't even audition for, which again is great because money is money and a paycheck's a paycheck at the end. But and I get to still play. It's still the playground of getting to do a bit part or a bigger part or a recurring character or whatever it is. And I'm glad that I've been able to establish that with so many of the great directors in our community here in the LA talent roster, and starting with Texas. And now there's crossbreeding. We got people from New York and LA and Texas, and we're all working on each other's projects, especially now that we can all record from home. So, yeah.
Even from Australia.
Yeah, even from Australia, mate. That's down there. It's great.
It's great. Quick side note. Okay. The spiders here, no joke, right? I think I posted some pictures. I don't know if you've seen them, but there's just this one. I posted one as big as my hand. It was they're like, oh no, that's nothing. That's an old weaver. They're fine. So it was like the leg span was that long, right? So it's big as your phone, right?
Yeah.
It's like here in the middle, and those legs are stretching out. Well, the other day, I got to see a huntsman that big, at least. And that is no joke. I mean, it is. Here's the crazy part. So we were at a park with all the kids running around, having a good time. There was this one thing, it was a mushroom shaped thing with little, the mushroom pulled back on both sides so they could run through. And everybody's running through and everything. And Declan was coming over to it. And I said, hold on. And I just went down and looked up underneath for some reason. I was just like, let me take a look up there. And there it was. Big, right there. My kid had been running under it. All these kids have been running and playing. This big honking thing was just sitting there going, what's up?
It's like a face hugger, man. It's just,
it was that big. Yeah, it was.
And so they say that is harmless.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well,
I wouldn't chance it. I wouldn't chance it.
The true story is, the true story is, it is harmless. I mean, it's not harmless. It will bite. Mm-hmm. It will attack, actually, but it won't kill you. It's not. It is poisonous, but like a little bit. It's not like something that is like a black widow,
right? A brown recluse,
yeah. And they have like a funnel web that is like stay away from that, and it's smaller. Yeah, Ooh. So it's like the weirdest things will kill you down here.
that country is legendary for most of the wildlife is trying to kill you, and it's like I can't tell, is that a joke or is that sarcasm or
like, well, have you ever seen like koalas? I've cuddled, like, you've been down here a few times, right?
Yeah.
So you've held the koala, and they're
actually no, I didn't, but I did hear about how they have chlamydia, and you got to watch that. And like, where do they get? Okay.
I don't know, but don't hump a koala.
Oh, well, that is excellent advice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a well-traveled man.
They're the cutest things, though. They are so adorable. So I've seen them. I've been to the zoos there, and I've not been lucky enough as some of the other convention guests when they go in between gigs and say, let's go sightseeing. But you have, so you've held them, and it's like an amazing experience, right?
I've held 3 at this point, And
Yeah.
we had one with Declan and everything. But the cute thing is, it's like they're so cute and cuddly and everything. And
Yeah.
you look at their hands, and there is their claws.
Yeah.
They are major claws. And they're like,
Oh,
yeah, if they start getting agitated, they could attack you. And I'm like, what a way to go. I was attacked by a cute, cuddly koala.
you'd want that on your headstone, right?
I know. Yeah. The koala took him out.
Not a grizzly, not a
No,
Kodiak, but
the koala.
yeah.
So, well, how are you guys getting off shop a little bit here? Let's talk about how life is there in LA, because we see it from way away, and we hear people, we see people, we talk to people, and they're all, posting this and posting that. And I've been
Right.
dealing with a lot of the ramifications of that in more of the mental space and the, reframing, et cetera, and like with inside my group. And it's like, well, here, try to look at it from this standpoint or do this. How are you guys coping with all the crazy?
Well, since we're both introverts and we're not really big into the party scene or going clubbing or any of that, we like going out to dinner, which we don't feel safe doing, even though you can in restaurants as long as there's social distance. But we was like, it's takeout, or now when money's tight, you just cook, you stay home and you order off Amazon or Instacart or have the food brought to you and go out as little as possible. We've been very, very careful. We both have immunocompromised systems. I'm type 2 diabetic, and my wife has some esophageal and allergy type things that could really, really be agitated. We don't want the Rona. So we've dodged it so far. We wash our hands. We've been really anal about that sort of thing. And I always wear a mask when I'm out about, and so does she. Yeah. But overall, our life hasn't changed that much other than getting to see people, occasionally, or having people over for dinner, or let's have a movie night. Let's hang. And like, I love you and I want to catch up, but gosh, I don't know if you're accidentally carrying something with you that we don't want, So
Right.
Yeah, and like you said, the mental headspace thing that I've seen it. It surprisingly has not affected me as much, because in recent years I have opened up, and we can go into this further. To seeking meds to help balance, because everything up here is a chemical balance, and you're trying to stay balanced. Mm-hmm. And as long as you keep trying to improve that, hence all the personal growth stuff, you're going to be on a good path. And luckily, I haven't had that much anxiety or depression per se, outside of the normal stuff. Everyone's worrying about, where's the next paycheck coming from? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just the normal stuff that anyone can relate to. But all in all, I think because we have adopted an animal rescue dog, her name's Lulu. She's a Bichon poodle mix, and she is just sweet as can be. That has been very centering for both of our sanity, and she's just a lab dog, super sweet. Loves to just lay around. She's like the softest thing you've ever felt. She needs a lot of medical attention, though. She has neurological issues and a little incontinent sometimes. So we put a diaper on her, but she hits the pads for the most part.
Yeah.
And that thing has really helped us together, too, in our own dynamic.
Sure.
And you wouldn't think that possible, but it's like, oh, pets are so therapeutic. It's such a great thing.
Oh, yeah. Pets are amazing. I mean, I had, you know my whole story, but I had the 3 big dogs, Nacho, Fajita, and Burrito, that I had to leave in Texas.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, I had dogs all my life, and they are so therapeutically, I think they're necessary. I think, we're going to have dogs sometime, I think.
Sometimes. Yes.
It's going to be hard to kind of travel with them, but, that was our plan. We're going to have a dog. I think they're amazing, especially what they can do. Their effects, and scientifically proven, their effects on your psyche and people. It's just like, here, you want to feel better, puppy.
Yeah. And I wonder, because my parents were so strict about that, not a strict parent, but they just said, no, it's too hard to take care of an animal. We both work at the time. And it's like, and then you're not going to take care of it. You're not responsible enough. And it's like, yeah, I was really lazy and all that stuff. But had they been okay with it, I wonder how much our dynamic, families are full of dysfunction and arguments left and right, but how centering would a pet of any kind really be and have your effect? Because all my close friends had cats, dogs, birds. I could never own a bird though. Whew.
Yeah,
those
I
things
had one.
just like, be quiet. I have to record, especially as a VO person.
Oh boy, yeah, that's the issue. I mean, when you have a 3-year-old,
sometimes that too.
Sometimes that could be an issue. So, well, I'd love to get into, if you feel comfortable with it, just talk a little bit about the journey that got you from Texas. And I'm talking about, the headspace as well. Prime example. So when I tell people about my story and how I got into deeper into the self-help personal growth, it's like I was actively working on myself for years. Mm-hmm. And then I went, pro once we found each other, and we've just been going forward from there, and we love it because I kind of geek out on that as well as sci-fi. That's my big geek out. But it takes, you had to leave from where you were to go follow a dream, which is that's wow.
I have a supportive family. They didn't understand why I wouldn't just get because they're old school, they grew up in the 50s and 60s, and it was like, how come you won't just get a job in an office with 9 to 5? It's like, because this is something I want to do. And I see that people can have a life in the entertainment industry and it can be successful. And I accept the risks and all that. So they were super supportive. And like you mentioned, picking up and leaving everything and are familiar with into the unknown, as many people come out to the West Coast or any new town for that matter will do. It is truly scary. I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life to come here. In 2005, my dad rented a U-Haul truck. We both come out here and I fly him a one-way ticket home. I drop him off at Burbank Airport, and then I pull over to the side of the road and just cry like a baby. It's like, it just hit me out of nowhere. I can't believe it's like, I did it. I got here. Now I have to stand on my own 2 feet. Not that I wasn't in Dallas, but I mean, in a new place, not surrounded by the comforts of, a bunch of friends or something. I knew like Steve Bloom in an ancillary sort of way, and like Jonathan Klein from New Generation Pictures in an ancillary sort of way. And it's like, well, we met on the con scene, but in terms of deep, long, meaningful relationships with people, I was a stranger in a strange land. And that was truly scary. And trying to get centered again took forever. I did the wrong thing. When you tell people to follow their dream, people will tell you, put aside like 10 grand, save a bunch of money so that when you get there, you can float for a few months and look for a, dare I say, real job to get by. I worked in audio production on some internet talk shows, all about addiction recovery. Actually, it was like, wow, that's kind of a interesting thing. Here I am. I'm still working in radio, but I'm trying to transition into VO. So I got the agent, I get the auditions, but I'm the new guy in town. So what? I don't know. What am I going to do? And then, super stressed out. Didn't save nearly enough money. I had a 401k in my old full-time radio job that I just started like within the last year of being there. Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, that's all gone. And I haven't been here even 6 months yet. Now what? So kids, don't get into credit card debt. It's bad. It's bad when you do that, or a personal thing of credit. I mean, if you're not trying to start your own business, that's a little bit different. But if you're just, that was scary. But I was so determined to follow what I wanted since I was a kid. It's like, and I had the belief of people in the industry who are teachers like Bob Bergen and Pat Fraley, and, and their belief in me helped kind of motivate me, light a fire under my butt to, okay, I need to go. I'm complacent and a little bored with radio. I've done this for 13 years. I need to go seek out that other dream of mine. I want to stay on a mic and I still want people to hear me, but in a different fashion, in a pre-recorded fashion.
Right.
And, I was shy, I was withdrawn, I was introverted, and working in voiceover through all these years helped me become more confident and gain public speaking skills so that people like you and I can address thousands of people in a panel at a convention and it won't faze you.
Right.
It's like, and I'm sure you can remember, and I can remember being a completely different person when we were younger. Mm-hmm. And you go on things like Facebook and your old classmates are going, wow, you're really different now. It's like, yes, I am. And it's a good thing.
It's like, we love that. When now you said you came in 2005. Do you know when exactly?
Oh yeah. September of 2005. I remember because My Name is Earl debuted on NBC. I watched the pilot episode.
I love that. I actually saw Jason Lee over at what was it, the Velvet Margarita?
Yeah.
One time I saw him, he's just sitting by himself. I'm like, I'm going to say hi. It's Earl. I love that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, voice wise, he was Syndrome. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Amazing. Loved it. It was funny because we came at the same time. I was there a few months before you. I came in May 8th. I drove in with my dad in a U-Haul. Went straight over to see Jason and Amanda Wynn Lee. Yeah. And dropped off my smoker, Texas, my big barbecue pit smoker, which was it was $1,000, man. My ex wasn't getting that. And I'm like, I'm bringing that. So I left it with them for years. And then I drove over to K-Town and, I knew 4 people myself, and it was like, my dad stayed with me a couple of days. Me and Dave Cox, I stayed with him for a couple of days while my apartment was getting ready there in K-Town. And it was just like, you're right. That moment where you're just like, okay. And then he went away the other day and I moved into my apartment. And I just broke down. I was just like, oh dear Lord, this is what it is now. My life was totally, it wasn't even really my decision, but it was my decision. But it was like, wow, guess what? What are you going to do? LA? Cool. You came wanting to be a voice guy. I was going to be on camera because I had just done 5 films, there. And I got to LA and man, LA was like, who cares?
Like, I got a million of you.
Yeah. But luckily, like you, I had the background in the voice stuff.
Yeah.
And I started working that and, meeting and greeting and doing the networking that we tell people to do in panels.
Yeah.
And that happened. And I met you, if I remember correctly, we were at Animagic in Lancaster, California. That's where I met you, Vic,
Scott McNeil.
Neil was there?
I believe Kirby Morrow.
Yeah, so
maybe that was a different year. I don't know. It's all a blur.
Dobson. Remember Mike Dobson? That, I don't know if you knew this. You remember the story that I tell at What Happens at the Con Stays at the Con? The party with, the party then.
The party.
The party with Eddie Van Halen and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Kirby Morrow, yeah.
That was from there, yeah. Crazy, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was a con set basically poolside at this little tiny hotel in the middle of nowhere, basically. A couple hours outside of LA. And
that was like my second con ever. I had no idea what was going on. Not a clue. For about 6 months, I really didn't understand any of it. I was just like, okay, I'll go. You're giving me booze. Okay, I'm party.
Yeah. It's a strange culture. If you're not used to it, golly, my parents, one time I was in town and they dropped me off at the convention and they go, wow, it's a circus in town. Because they're just not used to seeing cosplayers. It's like people dressed up like it's Halloween.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, it's one of those things that people don't understand how crazy it is. They'll go to conventions and they're like, wow, this is really fun, but they don't see it from our side.
Yes.
And that's what happens at the con is about. Like, and I tell people this isn't like in the book, but the fun stuff that we do behind the scenes, and it's usually wrapped around like one line of dialogue that somebody comes up with, and we are all quoting that the entire weekend.
Yeah. And you may be tired of saying that one little phrase. It's like, are people really impressed by just me saying this next time on Dragon Ball Z? You know, okay.
Well, there's that, but I'm talking about behind the scenes with us when we're like in DK, when Sean Schemmel did his, Skittles, gum and flavors.
Taste the rainbow.
And we're like, the rainbow. And we were all doing these walk-in impersonations all weekend,
Yeah.
You were an anime-thon, weren't you, up in Edmonton?
Yes, I was there too.
All the Dobsons and the
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, for anyone watching or listening to this podcast, it's like the convention world, if you're a guest, is definitely a different experience than if you're an attendee. Sometimes we turn into fanboys and fangirls because of the other guests. We had June Foray at another Animagic. That was amazing.
That was the one. That was the one.
She was there too, huh?
Yeah. And I flipped out because I was like, I didn't understand the voiceover world at all when I got out to Hollywood. Yeah. And I didn't realize, I'm sure I pissed a few people off because I'm like, yeah, I don't know anything that you do. And I would say it. I'm like, I am totally unfamiliar with you. I'm sure you're amazing. I did that to Wendy Lee, and she still tells me about it. She goes, you were so goofy, man. You're like I know none of your work. I'm sure you're fantastic. She's like, I wasn't sure whether I liked you or not. And now she's like, Fred. And it was just, it's wild because I still don't know who does things.
Yeah. You got to keep a really close pulse on social media, which is a little bit scary. My wife says, like, I'm getting off of social media. I said, why? It's like that documentary we watched, Social Dilemma. Like, that is a little scary. But in our work, in our career path, we kind of need it, to whatever. We are a brand, and we have to use that marketing oomph that we didn't have when we started.
It's funny when you say brand, it's because I'm working on branding the coaching side. I really haven't branded my voice at all. I've done like nothing like, hey, I'm going to go out there and voice. It's been, I've been focusing on the coaching side. And like something I've been noticing personally is like, oh yeah, I should probably work on the voice side too.
Now, is there enough hours in the day? And let me say, cause you brought it up, you did some films on camera here. And then things dried up for whatever reason. But my question to you is coming and almost practically just transitioning on camera to VO. What's more fun? I know they're different, but
it's a tough call because on camera is hurry up and wait. You got your little trailer and you're waiting. But when that camera rolls and you're doing it, loving every second of it. Like quick side note, I did I did a film with Tommy Lee Jones. He directed and cast me, and it was called The Three Burials of Melquiades Estrada. Nobody saw it. And I got a great picture of him watching me on the thing. I've got to digitize that.
Nice.
But we did a scene, and I was playing on the TV. There was a soap opera, and I was a soap opera star. Yeah. And so he came in and directed us, and he started on soap operas. And we ran it like 3 times. And I mean, this was the whole day. We walked in, we waited, we got there, we did our things, 3 scenes. He comes in and goes, well, that was as good as anyone I've ever worked with in a soap opera. So what do you think? And I just looked at him, I said, sir, can we just do it one more time? And he said, all right, go nuts. Action. And we went for the rafters, man. We're like, there will always be a river valley. We just really hammed it up. And he said, that was great. It's a wrap, and we're done. So, I mean, there's those moments, but my favorite moments in the voice world have been like times with you and other people to work together. Yeah. And when we did Get Blake with Robbie Damon, or, that's not about me. Let's talk about you. We worked, I think was it you, me, and Mary Elizabeth. on Wolverine, I think it was years ago.
Oh, the Wolverine anime?
No. It was animation. I think wasn't it you, me, and her, and we were doing extra sounds. We were just the voice of the background stuff, and she came around, and we were all doing stuff, and we were just yelling out names and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I remember that. And they were throwing out different weird names or whatever it was, and it was just I remember doing that, and it was like this is fun. This is fun.
Yeah,
So,
doing those like background voice.
Yeah,
sometimes you can use your real conversation. Sometimes you literally just say, no, it's going to be so low in the mix. They don't. So you look like an idiot. But again, you're not sitting on a set waiting for 12 hours a day and then in the makeup chair for X hours. And
that's the best.
Someone from the TV world was like at Studiopolis, where we recorded on shows a lot, and they were on break, and they said, man, you VO people have it made. You just go in, you record, and you go home.
Yep. We do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's such a wonderful part. Well, do you have some in the booth stories that we can chat about? We'll go on the personal journey a little bit later, but let's have some fun. Tell me about some
I'm boring because it's all like everyone else's stories. And like when you have gas and you just want to do the one cheek sneak, the mic is more expensive than you are. So it hears your food digest, it hears your blood flow. And by gum, if you're going to float an air biscuit, it's going to pick it up. No matter how subtle you try to be. The silent but deadly isn't totally silent. It will register a little sound wave. And the engineers will save that. I call it audio blackmail. So I would say that the hard drives of all these Pro Tools sessions on computers through the years, through all these people, there's some, everyone's got to be nice because you never know.
Man. There is something there from everybody, including the ladies.
Yes, ladies too. Yeah. I mean, we all break down. We're dropping F-bombs. We're breaking into song. I mean, because we don't have the luxury of going over scripts and rehearsals and all that stuff. We show up, we're a blank slate. The director says, "Okay, we're and go." So this is why we always tell people improv is such a key thing to master, because you are always thinking on your feet. Even though you've got a script that you got to say verbatim, there's still subtleties of the performance that you can still make your own. So
well, when we were talking about the journey to get out, and we both have a similar journey, is coming out to a place that we're really not certain of. We're like, what are we going to do? And do it. We did it. And we're doing it now. And it's, 15 years later, you're still there. I'm in Australia. I'm still at a convention, and it's like, how does this happen? I don't know, but we're still in the biz. I've been recording from here, and same as where you are. I mean, it's just different booth.
I'm thinking that this whole pandemic has changed the world in so many ways, and in particular our industry, to where people have had to do upgrades and maybe make a one-time investment or something, get a better mic or a better preamp or a better setup somehow, some acoustic foam, or just record in a closet. I'll be honest, that's my studio space. It's a nice walk-in closet. And now it doesn't matter that we're in LA. We could be in the middle of nowhere, and we still sound the same because we've got that crisp, clear HD audio quality coming through, patched in with the studios, and the apps have come so far. The tech has come so far. It does make a lot easier for today's generation of hopefuls. Like, one day I want to do what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
It's more possible now than ever.
It is.
Yeah, the door opens, and it doesn't mean the journey's going to be any easier. My God. It doesn't matter. We could take all the acting classes and work with coaches and all that stuff and meet all the right people and have it still not go our way. It's like, I've auditioned for 300 things and only got cast on like one. Like, does it mean you're bad? No, it's just, that's the way the industry works. You either are or you aren't what they want. And it's like going to casinos and, just going to Vegas and just playing the craps or playing the dollar slots or the nickel slots. And it's like, all right, am I going to get cast? Nope. Okay. Am I going to get cast? Nope. Well, okay. Just lather, rinse, repeat.
You know, it's funny. I'm going to piggyback on that mindset thing because I had done something for years, and maybe this will resonate with you a little bit. So, and I did a whole podcast on this because I was doing something when people say, "So what do you do?" I was like, "I'm an actor. I get told no for a living." You know, I'm thinking, "Oh, that's kitschy, catchy, funny, ha 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 ha." And I started thinking about that. It's like through some of the coaching, I was like, "Oh my God, it hit me." I have been reinforcing that I am being told no every time for 30 years. And this happened just like earlier this year when I was on a podcast. I said that I went,
Yeah.
oh my God. And I was like, you know, because we think that in our world, what is it? It's like usually they say, oh, well, you know, a good rule of thumb is 100 auditions and you get 1 gig. Okay. Same rule applies, by the way, in like real estate investing. Look at 100 deals and you might get 1. Great. So apparently 1% is the thing across the board everywhere, right?
Oh yeah.
But what about the people that don't think that way? What about the people that say, you know what? Like I shifted and now people say, what do you do? I'm like, I get told yes for a living because that is factually correct. You know, we get told yes and we get the job and we get the check and that pays my bills and that helps me live. The auditions where I get told no, they don't help me for crap. So it's like it's putting the power on the good rather than the bad. It's like, oh, I'm getting told no for a living. It's like, no, I get told yes for a living. And then you're focusing on the positive side of that. So anyway, that was just a little.
Well, that's a great way to look at it. And also a great mentor in the VO business, Jack Angel. You know, he says, don't look at it as, you know, 100 auditions and 99 of them you don't get. Just think of the next audition as you're on the next step on the ladder. You're that much closer to the next one.
That's it. Jack's great.
Treat the audition like your job.
Yeah.
You know, pretend that you got cast. Pretend that money's coming to you. Have fun because this is what it's about. Have fun and make a living at it.
Well, so let me, I guess, overarching. Let's go into some mindset stuff here. Overarching, as an entrepreneur, which you are, and people don't understand that we are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
This is what we do. And, you know, how do you wrap around the idea that, you know, the next job, the way we say it in the acting, where the next job could be your last. I'm like, you shut up, you get out of here. I've got millions of jobs and millions of dollars coming in, but how do you reconcile that and get your mindset flowing?
Well, I tell you, for years, I didn't believe it. And then I just, what you put out into the universe comes back to you. If you're going to be a negative Nancy all the time, then of course, bad stuff is going to surround you and you're just going to be a drama llama. So, and we're all human. So we're all guilty of that in whatever varying degrees throughout our life and through whatever situation. But the goal is, if you put your mind to it, and everything, all those cliches are cliche for a reason. You stay passionate about something that you want so bad that, you know, you won't take no for an answer. Okay. So all these doors are shut and saying, no, we don't want to hire you. No, we don't want to hire you. Don't, you know, it's like, hey, okay, it's not meant to be. I'll move on until it is meant to be. All right. I could sit here and boohoo about how such and such project or such and such show or movie didn't hire me. Or I can just say, all right, the door's shut. I'm going to go. We're going to try another door. It's a whole, you know, shopping mall of doors that open up to different things. And when you try, as opposed to give up, you know, you're going to learn things even when it doesn't go your way. You will say, okay, well, now I know that method didn't work and this didn't work. And maybe if I try this, I discovered something else. I can do so-and-so. I acquired a new skill. And then suddenly life is sending you down a different path. And yeah. Now, especially with technology and all that, and we're a brand. That's something that I didn't really think about when I was starting either. And it's like, what? Oh, I'm a brand. I'm like, yeah, you got to think about how you market yourself. Now, social media, you got to go out there and plug the stuff you're in. It's like, but I don't know what I'm in. What am I in? Do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in that thing, right? It's like I'm in so many first world problem. I'm in so many games that it takes someone tweeting me and tagging me on there going, great job. And so-and-so, like, oh, I'm in that. Wow.
I just did that today. I'm like, which one am I?
I'm Man B in Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay. I didn't know that. They didn't tell me I was recording that. They're all secretive.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the thing about mindsets, and I don't fault anyone for saying, okay, this isn't for me. If it's not meant for them, it's not meant for them. But this particular calling calls out to me. Like some people feel like a calling to the priesthood or whatever. I want to be president, an astronaut, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever. So ours, we're creative souls. We want to entertain. We want to give people therapy by helping them escape reality. And we get to inhabit all these different characters, and it's our own little therapy too. We can work our little issues out too, in a way.
Well, especially the screaming ones, it's like, oh, this is going to be good. I'm going to therapy.
Yeah. True facts. And I used to thumb my nose up at counseling and therapy. I thought, oh, it's all a racket. All they do is just sit there and nod their head and take your money for sitting there for an hour. And who has money for that? And, but the thing is now is, again, a better, more accessible way where there's cheap and no cost, low cost, depending, flexible income, this, that, and the other. There are options out there for people who need, and they should look into their a good mental health evaluation and say to themselves, okay, well, why do you harbor anger issues? Let's discuss. Let's dig into that. And if you try different things on, just like you try different shirts on at the store and find the one that fits. Same thing with a counselor or a therapist. You try different ones until ones that you kind of gel with, and they ask you the right questions. The point is not for them to solve you, it's for you to solve yourself. And a good therapist is going to help you work all this stuff out, become a better person so that you don't have to keep going and spending money that could be better spent on other things. But an investment, much like the equipment in our craft, you gotta, all right, I gotta spend money to make money or whatever, enrich my life, enrich my brain, teach me something that I don't already know about myself, or I was too afraid to confront. And that's a big demon right there. You stare down the face. Oh, it's me in the mirror. I got to come to terms with who I was, the decisions I've made, and do I sit here and waste time and energy being negative about the choices I made or blaming others and all that? No way.
That's awesome. That's the type of stuff that people need to hear, and especially in our community. I mean, even in business people, they need to hear that too. Because I'll coach somebody in business and say, "Oh, you have the same issues." I mean, people have some of the same issues. It doesn't matter where you are. Everybody has certain issues. And as a coach, I don't say, I'm not a doctor, and I say, hey, I am not telling anybody to not get professional help, to not take medicine, to not any of that kind of stuff. That's not what I do. I say, you go get it. And what would you say to somebody who's kind of on the fence going, yeah, but I don't, maybe people will look at me or maybe I don't know. What would you say to somebody, maybe in our community, let's say, hey, here's what you need to do?
Well, think about the analogy of working out, how it's celebrated when someone looks after their own physical health and is like, good for you. And then we have this stigma about mental health. It's like, oh, he's on meds. He has something wrong with him. Or this person's on the autism spectrum. They have something wrong, air quotes, with them. They need help and all this stuff. Why shouldn't that be celebrated? Someone who wants to improve themselves, deconstruct all the drama in their life, and so they can find out why they keep, making left turns when they should be making right turns. When that could be celebrated, and you have people and you have advocates in the entertainment industry, sports world, politics, or whatever, who will sit there and say, hey, and you're thankful for it because you see that validation that maybe you didn't see a decade ago. And you see, okay, well, this person says there's something to it. I'm going to look into it. And you either do the work, AKA research, and take the time and energy to invest, or you get complacent and go, nah, I guess I'm okay with who I am and being down in the dumps all the time and not making a change for the better or make a career change. I mean, you may discover through counseling that maybe that day job you have is not bringing you pleasure. Yes, it keeps your bills paid, but should you really be doing it? And on the other end of the spectrum, the people with the 6-figure incomes are just as stressed as someone who makes, $5 an hour. but just for different reasons. You know, they're in a different income bracket, but probably the same debt ratio and all that crazy stuff.
It's true. I mean, it's amazing. We don't know other people's path, and you see the people, you know, throw up a quote. You don't know the path other people are on, so don't judge. You know, yet we're judgment machines. We judge a million things every day.
Yeah.
It's nice that people are starting to look at it and go, okay, hold on. Let me stop the judgment for a second and say, hey, you okay? You know, what can we do to help? Because there's something, and I don't know if you are you familiar with Dr. Daniel Amen at all?
No.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. Now he studies the brain, and what they've found is that, and he's in Laguna Beach, I think, by the way. And he said they studied the brain. I mean, they like CAT scans and all that. They're really getting in there, and they found that a lot of the mental issues that people have are actually caused by a physical trauma when they're young, and they can show you, they can scan your brain and go, oh, here's why you're acting like this. Here's why you're doing that. And he said what's interesting. He said that psychology is the only medical branch that does not study the actual organism that it supposedly cures. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Oh, because he says, look, so physically, if somebody's, you know, like, I don't know why I'm so mad at stuff. Well, I can take you through like timeline therapy, and we can do, you know, all kinds of coaching training. You can go through all this other stuff. But then if he goes, you know, you go and take the scan, he said, oh, you see the little thing right there? That's what it is. We just need to fix that little or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix it, but you'll know. And I'm like, wow, because I got my head smacked around a lot when I was a kid. That explains so much.
Yeah. And, you know, taking that spark of a motivation to, it's like, all right, if I go down this path, it's going to open doors that have never been open to me before. And I have a chance to learn something. And do you take that risk? It's all risk. That's what life is. It's a big, should I, could I, would I, or do you sit there and have a bunch of, you know, oh man, I coulda, woulda, shoulda, instead of, hey, I'm going to do this. And whatever happens, it was meant to happen. Whether it's good, bad, and different, and then I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to grow from it. And all right, next chapter, you know, we're continuing the book of life.
See, that's awesome. That's exactly what I teach and coach. You know, it's like going, hey, whatever happens is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you either win or you get a lesson.
What you choose to do with it. And yeah, I mean, I'm as human as anyone else, and I can sit here and preach these cliches and all that. And yeah, I can be totally down in the dumps. In fact, this week I was down in the dumps because like, I'm not working enough. I need more money. Oh, wait, the whole world is like this right now. I'm not unique.
Yeah.
There's a togetherness about that. There's strength in numbers. It
really is.
These are unprecedented times. So
it really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, do you have anything, like I usually ask, hey, do you have like 3 books that you might recommend? Are you a reader? You know, I mean, I figure it seems like you said earlier, it's like you guys are mostly inside. And so this is really affecting you all that much. Same thing with me and Kim. We both do everything inside. So it's like, yeah, people are like, oh, it's all crazy. I'm like, But so being inside and reading books and things like that, do you listen to any motivational speakers, any coaches, any books, anything that you've might recommend?
Funny you should ask.
Oh, good.
Here is something called Mind Over Mood, which is a book by Dennis Greenberger and Christine Podesky. And basically it's a workbook, changing how you feel by changing the way you think. And it's a cognitive behavior therapy. And it's just one of all these different psychological approaches to therapy. And it may not work for you if you try it, but that is one thing that was helpful for us in discovering the difference in dynamics. I also learned that my brain works and thinks differently because I tested, and I am more than likely on the autistic spectrum, a high functioning, what used to be called Asperger's is now, you know, and that brain maps everything differently.
Sure.
So when you have the dynamic of a wedded couple and you're having communication problems and things get lost in translation, well, we finally found through, you know, reading things, talking to different therapists, and them asking the right questions to ask ourselves. and to reanalyze and everything. And that's something that I can't think of any other books that my wife was kind enough to hand me, saying, well, this one makes a difference, because this one, yeah, there's a digital version, but yeah, go ahead and get the hardback one or the paperback so you can sit here and fill out all these little exercises, and you will establish, you're sitting there examining and deconstructing, well, why was I mad when that happened? What was different? What changed? What that? And you analyze it. And again, it comes with your mindset. Do you want to sit here and do the work? Do you want to sit here and try to figure out why you do the things you do? Well, if you do, there are books out there that can help you. And this is one of those tools. It's all a big toolbox. We're all given tools by our parents because they only have the tools their parents gave them. So for better or worse, they raised us the way that they did the best they could. You know, in general, people do the best job they can if they're not unencumbered with other vices and everything. Moms and dads do try with their kids. They want a better life for their kids. And then we grow up and we become our parents. Why do we become our parents? You know, this is this big rabbit hole.
Well, I, for one, am not going to become my dad.
yeah. I'm not going to become my dad. And then the more you become, especially when you're a parent. And yeah, exactly. So you're using the tools you have until you realize you've unlocked new tools. And now the question is, are you going to use these new tools that you've got, or are you just going to use the same old program? Are you going to do that iOS, that OS update in your brain? Or are you going to do this old out of date things? Because everyone can relate to computers now and everyone gets that. Like, I'm going to upload and download. Well, yeah, download this cool new program that's going to make you run faster.
Well, you know, you're right. That is, you know, that's what I will use when I'm coaching people. The first thing I'll do is I run them through like 3 tests.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the 3 tools that I use, and I can tell you just from those 3. Like for you two, I'll give them to you for free. You know, no big deal. But you do those, and you'll see the matrix, and you'll see, oh my gosh, that's why I do this. That's why you do this. That's why you do this. That's why you do this. And it's all these different things that put together. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And once you open up to that, it's like, oh, that's how you are. That's how this message went through your brain and to your action. It's really interesting, and it's quick and easy stuff. But once people start down the road, it's like you said, it's this rabbit hole, and there's so many great things that you can find and use. So there you go.
And it's one long journey. It doesn't happen one night or one session or one coach session or one book. It's trying to just do the work, do the research. Obviously read reviews. You know, this one that we happened to pick up had tons of great reviews, thousands of them. So it's like, all right, that's going to help sell it. There's a bunch of great resources for anything on YouTube. Literally everything, every hobby you can think of, every topic is under the sun is basically someone's made a blog about it, and it's on YouTube, and you can see all these different facets and learn new things, and not just go down rabbit holes of, oh, this is conspiracy, everything is aliens, and you know, the satanic plot. That's all.
You know why me and my wife fight? The lizard people.
That's right. That's right. And Tom Cruise.
Damn it, Tom.
He only with your witchcraft, Tom Cruise.
Oh, it's good to see you, my man. It's been crazy out here. It's awesome. Don't get me wrong. You're
in Australia, dude. And you're trapped there. No one can trap at the moment that we're doing this. You guys are stuck there. Literally, you can't leave unless you want to go to New Zealand, right? You can go there.
Not yet.
You can't? Oh, man.
No, not yet. But see, here's the thing. So our plan, just to throw it out there, we're looking to probably stay here for a couple of years. And I'm letting everybody know in Hollywood, hey, I've got a full studio that I can go to.
Yes.
I got a guy who's an engineer. He's got it. I mean, we've done several jobs, super easy. And it's like, no big deal. It's just like this. And now I'm opening up the podcast and doing interviews now because I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, let's let other people know that there are people who they're looking up to. Like, you know, people look up to us because of our roles and the things that we've done.
Right.
And when we tell them, hey, you're a normal person and you've gone through struggles too, it helps them. That's why I tell people, if you're going to do something, then read a book by somebody who's done it, who's been there, because they went through struggles.
See what you're doing, Spike. This is cool. You're doing your own kind of version of TED Talks by having these different guests on, different walks of life, different perspectives, and people are, chances are, hearing all this for the first time. You know, if we did talk about voice acting, chances are there'd be a lot of crossover between the things we usually give answers to in all other interviews, and there'd be nothing unique about it. But so you're doing something unique.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why getting the word out there, because I've had people, for example, when you talk about autism, a lot of the people that I've dealt with, that I talk with, we have a high instance of autism, ADHD, and Asperger's in our community.
Yeah.
And so we see a lot of them. And one of the things that I've been telling them is, because I'm like, I don't know that much about it. And I've just actually met with called Dr. Ali, who is very well known in that community, and he's been there for years. And I'm going to be on. He's got a virtual summit coming up, so I'm probably going to be a speaker on that. But
great,
we're going to talk more about it because I want to learn more about it. Because I tell people, look, the first thing though is to take away the label. You know, like you're saying, you know, that mental thing, people are like going, I don't know. Oh, I am autistic, or I have Asperger, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, take that away and say, well, first of all, you're a human being, and you are you're a miracle. Like 4.3 trillion to 1 that you're even alive. So you're a miracle to begin with. And so whatever this is that you have, I can guarantee you there are many, many other people who have it and have succeeded wonderfully well.
Yeah.
And so don't say I am this, because you are amazing, and you also have this trait. Or like saying, you know, people say, oh, I'm fat. No, you're not. You're a human being. You're an amazing miracle, and you happen to have a few extra pounds that you could release.
And that's a positive mindset. That's putting a really good spin on something, you know. And my wife said this before. It's like I apologize too much. I shouldn't say, oh, I'm sorry I did that. As you try to put a positive spin on it. It's like, I'm sorry I keep apologizing. You should put a positive spin on it by saying, hey, thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's going to give me an example right now. I'm sorry I talk so much. Versus thank you for listening to me.
There you go.
Right.
See?
That's
good stuff. Good stuff. High five, baby. High five.
High five, girl. Yeah.
Well, is there anything, we're going to wrap it up here in just a second, but I was going to say two things. One, anything you want to pitch, and I'd love to kind of put it in the head there for a final thought. Any final thought you might give to anybody who's on their journey, having some issues, and maybe something, a word from Kyle Hebert might help them.
Yes. So, well, people want to find me. I'm very easily findable. I'm at KyleHebert.com is my website, but I am most active on Twitter and Instagram at Kyle Hebert, KYLEHEBERT. I have a Discord server, discord.gg/Kyle Hebert. I'm on Twitch. I play games. I talk to fans. We have fun with my channel, Gohan with Your Own Bad Self. And I guess in terms of parting thoughts, I think no matter where you are in life and you may be down in the dumps for whatever reason, this pandemic or your financial situation, your personal life, your interpersonal relationships, it's not all doom and gloom. There is research at your fingertips. Everything is a Google search away. There are options out there. There's help out there. Don't be afraid of things like, well, I don't have money to pay someone to help me. It's like, no, there's people out there whose job is it to provide that to you and to be that outreached hand. You know, we help each other. That's one of the things, one of the great aspects of being human. We're here to help each other. And that's what we're hopefully going to see as we get into a new year. We're going to get all this pandemic stuff under control. We're going to get our economy under control, and we're going to get ourselves in a much better headspace, and everyone wins.
Well, there you go, my friend. That's great. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. No. And Kim says hi, by the way. We adore you guys.
Hi, Kimmy.
Have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. And I look forward to many more appearances with you around the world, because it's going to happen. And we'll have some fun. And we may come back to LA. I don't know.
There's cheaper places, man.
You can always come visit us.
Yeah, it's much cheaper there.
It is. It is.
Well, there you go.
What do you do?
Right.
All right, man. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for being on the Mind Scrambler podcast. See you later.
Peace.
Peace.